Hey everybody, we're getting new details about an upcoming travel ban. I'm going to get into it in today's video, so make sure to stick around. Hey everybody, Michael Ashoori here. And as I mentioned, in today's video, we're going to be talking about new details emerging about a potential travel ban. And to start us off, I want to refresh everybody that on the first day of President Trump's presidency, he signed an executive order, and the executive order was titled Protecting the United States from Foreign Terrorists and Other National Security and Public Safety Threats. And that executive order has a tremendous amount of detail in it. And I even recorded its own separate video going through that executive order because it has major immigration implications. It talks about potentially revoking visas for people that received visas that are from certain countries and various other things. One of the things that that executive order does is it instructed various government agencies to come up with a list of countries that have deficient vetting practices to the point where the US cannot properly vet their citizens to grant them immigration benefits. And it specifically said within 60 days of that order, these various government agencies were to put together a list. And the purpose of that list was to basically determine how to limit immigration benefits for individuals that come from the countries that are on that list. And now in recent days, we've come to learn about a list of 43 countries potentially that could be featured on this list. And we're learning a little bit more about how this list is going to function and what a travel ban under this list is going to look like. And so I want to get into a little bit about that. And yeah, we'll go from there. So the first thing that you should know is that it looks like this is going to be a tiered list, basically where there's going to be what we think 3 different tiers. And there's going to be a red tier, and then there's going to be an orange tier, and then there's going to be a yellow tier. And based on what tier a particular country is in, their citizens will be subject to the limitations that are listed for that tier. So we'll start off with the red tier. And the red tier is some information that we have right now. It appears that citizens of the red tiered countries would be fully prohibited from entering the United States. And we have several countries here. We have 11 countries on this list, and they include Afghanistan, Bhutan, Cuba, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. And again, citizens of the countries on this list would likely face the most significant limitations of the various tiers that I mentioned. Again, it appears that citizens of these countries would be fully prohibited from entering the United States. Now, what we do not know at this moment is several things. One is we don't know if there's going to be any exceptions or exemptions for certain people. We don't know if this is going to apply to people that already have immigration benefits. We don't know to what extent it's going to apply to people that already have visas. Are their visas going to be revoked? Are their visas going to be canceled? We don't know to what extent it's going to apply to people like lawful permanent residents, green card holders. We don't think that it's going to apply for green card holders, but we are still awaiting details. So again, this is the red tier. Then we move on to the orange tier. And citizens of countries that are listed in the orange tier they're not entirely banned, but from what we believe, they're likely going to be undergoing additional vetting measures. And we don't know specifically what these vetting measures are going to be, the extent of them, but that's what we know so far. There's 10 countries on this orange tier. We believe them to be Belarus, Eritrea, Haiti, Laos, Myanmar, Pakistan, Russia, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, and Turkmenistan. And again, it appears that citizens of these countries are going to face enhanced vetting measures to be determined. So again, that's the orange tier. Now let's move on to the final tier, which is the yellow tier. And this yellow tier consists of what we believe to be 22 countries. And basically, the 22 countries that are listed in this yellow tier are going to receive 60 days to address the security concerns that the United States has about their vetting procedures, to address them and improve them, or else they're going to risk being placed in either the orange tier that we just mentioned or the red tier that we just mentioned. And again, this is 22 countries on this list, mostly African countries, which include what we believe to be Angola, Antigua and Barbuda, Benin, Burkina Faso, Cambodia, Cameroon, Cape Verde, Chad, Republic of Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, Dominica, Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, Liberia, Malawi, Mali, Mauritania, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Sao Tome and Principe, Vanuatu, and Zimbabwe. So primarily African countries. This potential travel ban is again directly tied to that executive order that we talked about earlier. And the United States' stated policy interest behind this executive order is to protect the country from potential terror threats. Again, the idea behind the executive order was instructed various government agencies to put together a list of countries where the United States has identified various vetting deficiencies of those countries to where the United States cannot properly vet the citizens coming from those countries. So now we're getting the details of how this is going to look like. It's not just going to be a blanket ban for all 43 countries. It seems like there's going to be, again, that red tier that is the most severe limitations, and then the orange tier, and then the yellow tier. Again, we're still awaiting details. This is just the framework that is being floated out there. We don't know to what extent the final travel ban is going to mirror what I just mentioned, but we're going to be closely monitoring. And again, it's going to be very important to what extent there will be any exceptions or exemptions for people. For example, what if somebody is from one of the countries that's listed in the red tier, but they have a spouse in the United States? Are they going to be prevented from getting any sort of immigration benefits to come reconnect with their spouse, or will there be exemptions for such a case? We also want to know to what extent this will be retroactive to apply to people that have already obtained immigration benefits, such as non-immigrant visas. What if somebody is from a country on the red list? For example, we expect Iran to be one of the countries on this red list. What if somebody's in the United States studying on a student visa and this travel ban is enacted? Are they going to retroactively lose their visa? This is something that we want to closely monitor. In the executive order, it does leave the door open for revocation of visas that were issued from countries that have vetting deficiencies for these visas that were issued during the previous administration. And again, we also want to closely monitor in the event that these immigration bans are enacted. We want to know to what extent they can be retroactively applied to what level of immigrant. What if somebody's here as a lawful permanent resident, as a citizen of one of these countries, and they got a green card to the United States within the last few years? Are they at risk of losing their green card? We don't expect that to be the case, but we're certainly monitoring for more information. So there you have it. That is some background. These new developments regarding an upcoming potential travel ban. We're going to be closely monitoring to see what becomes of all this news. I hope you found this video valuable. If you know anybody that can benefit from this information, please feel free to share this video with them. We're all about empowering you with knowledge. So the more people that can benefit from this information, that can actually watch this video, the better. And to that end, please hit that thumbs up button. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next video.